All right. We have taken the KX Country Clubhouse on the road, a little field trip to Universal Music Canada's headquarters here in Toronto, where today it is an absolute privilege to be talking to this guy right here, Mr. Kip Moore. How are you,
Yeah,
man?
I'm good, man. Good to be here.
Good, good. Welcome back to Toronto.
I appreciate it. Good to be here.
You look good, dude.
I
You must work out.
don't know.
Look, I think you're the only guy that can hang with our buddy Jim Cressman in the gym.
Oh yeah, I've worked out with Jim many times. He's a beast. That's for sure.
He's an animal.
He is.
In the
I
gym.
agree.
Well, we're happy to have you back. What is it you look forward to the most coming back north of the border? It can't be the surfing, maybe the snowboarding, but what do you look forward to the most coming back north?
Yeah, the Canadians. Montana and the States wrap their arms around us, unlike possibly anywhere else in the States. Wisconsin, maybe. But that's how we feel here in Canada. I mean, we even going out after shows and hitting up the pubs with the fans, you feel a different embrace here, and we've kind of been accepted as their own.
Right.
And I feel that when I'm here, that there's a special thing. So I would say that that more than anything, because when you're touring through the entire country, there's a lot of parts of this country where there's not a whole lot, man. You're just going
Right,
through
yeah.
barren land forever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely not the surf and the snowboarding that I'm looking forward to. It's the people more than anything.
Let's get into this new record. Just
Yeah.
came out a couple of weeks ago. Solitary Tracks. 23 songs on this bad boy. Now, Kip, when the popular thing to do these days is to release singles and maybe an EP, how important was it for you to give your fans a full-length record like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what the title track, Solitary Tracks, is all about anyway. It's about not really caring what the crowd is doing.
Right.
It's accepting your place on the outside fringe of society, and that's the way I've always felt, at least as an adult. So, the record was supposed to end at Southern Sun, which would have been 13, 14 songs. But I never stopped writing, and when I finished that first side of the project, they told me I had 4 months to turn it in.
Okay.
So to make the February 28th release date. So it wasn't like I was going to stop writing. So in
you
that
just kept
time,
writing.
I had mentally shifted because that was a cathartic process. Like, I mean, I wrote High Hopes, Solitary Tracks, and Live Inside all within a week of each other.
Wow.
And so I knew I was in a writing cycle at that time. I knew I had something to say and unpack. But once I had finished saying what I wanted to say at the end of Southern Sun, my whole mindset had shifted. And then you started getting songs like Alley Cat, Love and War, Live Here to Work. And the record started taking on a different tone and sound. So for me, I was just, coming out of a record deal, and I was like, I'd like to just do something different at this point. And so that's when I made the call. I was like, could I just throw a whole nother side on this, because I'm doing something completely different than I was on the first side.
Where does the title come from?
Well, the title just comes from, I mean, that was something I was working on in the middle of the night, one night at my kitchen counter, and it just comes from me, coming to grips and understanding that I'm okay with living on the fringe of where I feel like the pack is always moving, and that's where Solitary Tracks came from.
So are you the kind of guy that enjoys doing things by yourself?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'll tour till early December, and then I'll take off by myself and go surfing for a couple months every winter.
Okay.
So, I've always kind of been that way. I was going to movies by myself at 16 when it's all about your friends.
Yeah.
I missed the 7 o'clock show with all my buddies just so I could go to the 9 o'clock show by myself.
Right.
So I'm okay in that, like, that solitude. I'm okay with my own thoughts, which can be scary at times, and your own kind of the need to look in the mirror and kind of break down the things that you don't like, the things that you need to change. The unpacking that goes into to looking at yourself.
So your next single at Canadian Country Radio is the song called Bad Spot.
Yeah.
What's the story behind
Well,
that?
Bad Spot is just, it's all a metaphor around a drop call, but it's all about, it's growth. It embodies everything that this record does, which is kind of that the unpacking of understanding that you weren't quite ready for a certain thing in that time in your life, but you've had some time to process it and look at yourself and evaluate yourself and come back around and maybe be better for it this time around.
About 14 years of hits. Take us back to the very first one. Do you remember where you were and what you were doing the first time you heard one of your own songs on the radio?
I was in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. Akron, Ohio, and I heard "Mary Was the Marrying Kind." Was the first single we ever released. QMX up in Akron, and Sue Wilson and Jody were spinning that record. Back in 2012, they were spinning "Mary Was the Marrying Kind." I remember being in a 12-passenger, 15-passenger van we were touring in, and we were riding through Akron, and I heard that.
Cool.
Such a neat experience.
So now, knowing what you know now, what would Solitary Tracks Kip Moore say to this guy? Up All Night.
I would
Kip
say
Moore.
you need a new album cover. We need to think about this album cover. That's the first thing I'd say. No, I'm teasing. I love that album cover.
That's a handsome man right there.
I would do it different, but it's like I like looking back at that and being like I can just remember all that in that time in my life. But I would tell that guy that it's about to get really, really crazy, and you're going to be upside down for the next 6 years of your life, and you're not going to know which way's up. Everything's going to feel different. You're not going to change, but everybody's going to change around you.
Yeah.
And don't take that personal. Don't take everything personal. Let some things roll off of you and enjoy the moments that you're in, because it's going to be a blur. And you're not going to remember a whole lot of this. So for me, I think I would just try to be more present, which I've gotten way better at throughout my career.
Sold out rooms right across the world. After a show, what do your notifications look like? Do you even see them?
Oh, I don't look at socials much. I find myself looking at them when I'm international.
Okay.
Because I don't get to do shows internationally much. So it's those are kind of the only times I feel like I'm really reading to see, like, what's the pulse, what's the temperature in the room in these places, how are people feeling about these shows and this record, and but I don't spend a whole lot of time doing it. Even then I don't. But yeah, it's bonkers after a show. And you might only get to see like 0.01% of what's coming through.
Right.
Yeah.
Kip Moore, live in Toronto. It's great to have you back in the city,
good to be
my
back,
friend.
buddy. Good to
Sold
be back.
out Danforth Music Hall. Appreciate you joining us in the KX Country Clubhouse.
You bet.
Thanks,
Always.
Kip. Appreciate
Always.
it, man.